Welcome back to So What Does That Mean? The podcast where we break down engineering, planning, and construction in plain English. I'm Brendan, the engineer.
And I'm Joanne. If you're a developer, builder, homeowner, investor, or just someone trying to make sense of the construction world, you're in the right place.
Every episode, we take something that can cost people real money, real time, and real stress, and we unpack it in a way that actually makes sense.
No jargon walls, no lectures, just practical common sense advice from the people who see these issues every day. Okay, so I know this one's personal for you. Before we even get into the numbers, what's the story? The one you keep coming back to.
Yeah, so honestly, I nearly quit engineering. First 2 years out of uni.
Really? Why?
Me, 2 years of doing calculations for projects nobody ever explained the point of. I didn't know why I was doing half of it. Never got to visit the sites, just handed a spreadsheet, told to fill it in, and if I asked why, I'd get this look like I was wasting somebody's time.
Gosh, that sounds really rough.
It was. And I think about that a lot now that I'm the one hiring graduates. Because on paper, and this is the bit that's going to sound like I'm contradicting myself. On paper, graduates are doing fine. Really fine.
How fine?
About 87% of engineering graduates were in full-time work in 2021 and 2022. And 80, sometimes 85% land something full-time within about 2 months of finishing their degree.
Okay, so that sounds like a pretty good news story.
It is a good news story. Graduates get hired fast. That part of the system actually works. That's not where this episode's going, though.
Okay, so tell us, so where is this episode going?
It's going to what happens after they're hired.
All right. So if everyone's getting hired that quickly, where's the actual problem?
The problem's a bit further down the track because long term, the numbers tell a completely different story. Only about 56% of Australia's qualified engineers are actually still working as engineers.
So hold on a minute. 87% get hired, but only about 56% are still working as engineers?
Right. That gap between got the job and still doing the job a decade on, that's the leak. That's the whole thing we're talking about today.
And the leak starts where exactly?
Earlier than you'd think. It actually starts during the degree. There's a 5% dropout in the first year alone, and then another 20% somewhere across the rest of the course.
So we're losing people before they've even graduated.
We're losing people during the degree, then losing more of the ones who make it all the way through. And this is all happening while the entire industry is standing around going, we don't have enough engineers. Where are all the engineers?
It's a bit mad when you say it like that.
It is a bit mad.
Okay, so why does someone who fought that hard to qualify just walk away?
A few things stack up. Workload's a big one. These delivery-driven, high-pressure environments, burnouts, genuinely common, and it doesn't get talked about nearly enough.
Is it just money though? Like, do they leave for a better pay somewhere else?
Sometimes, yeah. Engineering's a really transferable degree. Problem solving, modeling, systems thinking. So people slide sideways into IT, data, banking, consulting, often for more money and frankly, better treatment.
But you don't think that's the main reason?
Honestly, no. From what I've seen and from what people tell me directly, not just what I assume, a lot of it isn't about the money. It's that nobody ever explained the why. 2 years of calculations for a project you never even saw get built.
That's basically your story.
That is literally my story. Yeah. And I don't think I'm special. I think that's most people's story.
So it's not always a dramatic exit.
No. And that's the part people miss. Being talked at instead of mentored. That's its own kind of attrition. People don't slam the door. They just quietly stop trying as hard. And then one day they're gone and everyone's surprised.
Well, let's talk about how graduates are actually seen day to day. What does the industry get wrong about them?
Start with the job ads. Half of them want, 1 to 3 years experience for a junior role, which is just how? How does a graduate have that?
The classic catch-22.
Exactly that. And on top of it, a lot of senior engineers still equate a good graduate with good grades, perfect transcript, straight distinctions. But has anyone actually asked whether this person can explain a beam to a builder standing in front of them? Usually not.
Is that not how you hire?
God, no. We don't hire for grades at JCE. Technical skills are the entry ticket, but it's not the job. What we actually want to know is, can you ask a good question? Can you sit in the discomfort of not knowing something and go and find out instead of pretending? Can you walk a site and read what the drawings don't say? Can you disagree with someone without making it personal?
That's a very different filter to grade.
It's a completely different filter. And I think the industry's got a genuine perception problem here, treating junior engineers like they're on a production line instead of, actual future leaders of the thing, and then acting shocked when they leave.
Okay, so what's actually proven to work?
Mentoring. Real structured mentoring. Pairing a senior person with a graduate with actual timelines and goals, not just go sit near Dave and absorb things. It's shown to build competence and confidence faster than leaving someone to figure it out alone.
Is that a big shift from how it's usually done?
Massive. And there's a push now for formal cadetships too. Paid work blended with study as a genuine alternative way in.
How does JCE actually do this differently day to day?
Every graduate at JCE visits the sites they design for. Every one. Because theory means nothing until you've stood on the dirt. Questions are welcome, especially the ones that sound stupid, because those are usually the good ones. You learn the why, not just the what.
And why does that actually matter at an industry level, not just a nice cultural level?
Because nearly 50% of Australia's qualified engineers are under 40. This generation is the profession's future capacity, full stop. And the industry keeps underinvesting in exactly the people it can least afford to lose.
Okay, so zoom out for me for a second. Why does this matter beyond one graduate's individual career?
Because only 8.5% of Australian graduates study engineering in the first place. That's the sixth lowest share in the OECD. So every single graduate we lose from the profession is disproportionately expensive to replace. There isn't a big backup pool sitting there.
So we're short on experienced engineers and also pushing away the graduates who'd become them.
In 10 years, yeah, exactly. And this is actually the flip side of what we talked about with migrant engineers. Same root problem, different door. Australia's wasting homegrown talent and imported talent for basically the same reason. Bad first experiences and judging people on the wrong things.
I went and had a look through some job forums before this one, and there's a pattern. People describe going to interviews for months and getting told they're either too senior for the junior role or not experienced enough for anything above it. Is that as real as it sounds?
It's extremely real, and it's not even unique to engineering. It's that classic bind. You need experience to get the job, but you can't get the job that gives you the experience. Graduates describe it constantly online. Some of them are doing totally unrelated work just to pay the bills while they wait for a real break-in.
If employers rate engineering grads so highly on paper, though, why does retention still fall off a cliff?
Because being hired and being retained are measuring two completely different things. Hiring's about a CV and an interview. Retention is about whether anyone actually invests in you once you're through the door.
What's the actual pay gap, out of interest, between a graduate and someone, say, who's got 5, 6, 7 years experience?
Entry level's usually somewhere around 65 to 85,000. Experienced engineers 5 to 7 years up are often close to double that. It's a real gap, but it takes years to close. And that's exactly the window where most of the attrition happens.
So what would you actually say to a graduate right now who feels like they're being talked at, not mentored?
Stop talking, start asking. If you're the senior person, ask what they're stuck on. Ask what they'd do differently, and then actually change something based on the answer. That's the entire difference between mentoring someone and just managing them.
Give me a number that should make the industry a bit uncomfortable.
Here's one. Employers rate engineering graduates as having the highest overall satisfaction of any graduate field, 90%. And engineering's in the top 5 highest paid graduate disciplines. Median starting salary around $71,500.
So it's not a quality problem.
Is absolutely not a quality problem. This isn't an industry stuck with mediocre graduates it can't place. It's an industry with graduates it openly admits are excellent, and it still can't hold onto them a decade later.
Put the two numbers next to each other.
90% employer satisfaction walking in the door, 56% still in the profession years later. That gap, that's the whole episode in 2 numbers. All right. If you take 6 things out of this one, around 87% of engineering graduates find full-time work fast. The real problem was never hiring, it's retention.
2. Only about 56% of qualified engineers are still working as engineers long term. That's the leak.
3. The drop-off starts during the degree itself. 5% in year 1, another 20% later.
4. Burnout, poor mentoring, being treated like a production line labour. That's what pushes good engineers out, not just pay.
5. Structured mentoring and real site exposure genuinely build confidence and competence faster than leaving someone to work it out alone.
And 6, only 8.5% of Australian graduates study engineering at all. Every single one this industry loses is expensive to replace. If you're a young engineer listening, did anyone actually explain the why to you early on? Or were you left just working it out? And if you're further along, what's the best thing a mentor ever did for you?
Tell us on YouTube or come through JCE. We read every single one of these genuinely, and they shape how we bring people into this industry. Nobody sets out to lose good engineers. It happens one unexplained calculation at a time. One unanswered question, one dismissive comment.
So the fix isn't complicated.
It really isn't. It's just paying attention to people the way you'd have wanted someone to pay attention to you at 23.
If this is the episode you wish someone had sent you in your first year, send it to someone in theirs right now. Subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, and connect with us on LinkedIn.
And as always, if you've got a topic, a question, or a building headache you want us to unpack, send it through to JCE. We genuinely enjoy this stuff.
Thanks for listening.
See you on the next one.